If you're trying to navigate the creative world, there's something you got to know. Setting a goal that's the wrong goal will put you in a bad mindset and mess you up more than you could ever imagine, probably more than not setting a goal. The number one thing that you need to do in order to get from wherever you are to wherever you want to be is set a goal, but how you set it determines whether you will win or not. Now, let me explain. It's got nothing to do with like set the goal low, that way it's achievable. It's not anything like that. What it has to do with that I'm about to describe here is, and it took me forever to learn this, is don't set your goal based on something you cannot control. For example, you can't control how many people like your stuff. You can't control how many comments you get. You can't control how many followers, subscribers, listens, plays. You cannot control what will happen. And if you watch that Rick Rubin interview on Rick Beato's channel, there's so many parts of that were amazing. I'm not going to get into those today, but what I want to talk about is how Rick very frequently said he has no idea what's ever going to work out and turn out great. You know, he knows what he likes. He knows what he thinks is good. His taste is uncompromising. He knows when the move is, yes, this is what it should be more like this, less like this. He knows all of that, but he doesn't know what people are ever going to like, what will ever become a hit, what will turn out great. He has no idea. And he doesn't make his decisions based on what that is going to be, whether it's going to be a hit or not. He's only being true to himself, his own feelings of, I like this, I don't like this. He can control that. He can't control what other people are going to say about it or do or like or buy or not. So he doesn't even try to control it based on that. He's not thinking about that. But what I want everyone to know is if you set your goal on these numbers you have no control over, what will ultimately happen is you will get depressed, fed up. There's some point where you will get too down on yourself from being too far from those numbers that you will actually wind up halting your progress, stopping, delaying where you could go. If you instead set your goal based on something you can control, for example, my goal is to have no regrets. Set your goal to have no regrets, and then that is within your control. That means that ultimately I know at some point it's all over for me, just like for all of you. At some point it's all over. That's just how it works. It's not a morbid thing, it's reality. When you realize that, and you want to know that at that time, when you can't do anything else, when you're beyond your ability to keep doing because it's over, you want to know you did everything you could. So the regrets thing is all that matters. If you set your goal based on having no regrets, then what will happen is when you want to do something, but you're scared based on what your peers might say, based on what, the people listening say, oh, they don't like it, fans, listeners, you won't care. Because if your goal is to have no regrets, then how could you possibly hold back anything that could get you where you're trying to go? That will be a regret. No matter what, later on, if you didn't risk more, try more, be more willing to fail, be more willing to do the things you are scared of or just don't want to do. If you're not willing, you'll always have a question mark, a big question mark that says, what if I would have? Who wants a what if I would have when you're not able to do anything anymore? Nobody would want that. So that's the point. Just look at that as the goal. You can control this because every time you're faced with something where you have to say to yourself, man, it's going to be hard to learn how to do this. I got to do it anyway because I don't want to have regrets. Man, it's going to be scary to put this out. I hope people like it. You better do it because if not, you're going to have regrets. Man, I better get up today and actually put in the work to finish this thing so that I can put it out. Because if I don't, I'm going to have the regrets of what if I shared all the stuff I've ever created and ever been able to create, all the ideas I've been blessed with. What if I didn't share them? What would have happened if I did? Who would want these questions? Nobody does. So you put the emphasis on something you can control, like having no regrets. And then when it is your time at some point, you won't have any of these fears of or worries about, what if I would have done this? What would my life have been like? What could have happened to me if I was as fearless as someone who had no qualms, nothing holding them back to do all the things they want to do? What could have happened then? That's what you want to know. It's what we all want to know. And I think if you really could get inside your head and determine what is making you depressed, what is making you upset, what it is at the root of it, at the core, it's that you don't do all that you could be doing. You know that. And as a result, you're depressed because you're in this thought process like a blender that goes in circles because you say to yourself, I want to do this, but, and then you reason yourself out of it a second later. I want to do this, but, oh, it'd be great if I did this, but, oh man, I wonder if, but, and then as soon as the but happens, it's always because the logic nonsense, it's going to be too hard. I don't know how to do this. I'd have to do too much research. It's going to take too long. What if nobody likes it? What if there's no results? And then I spent all this time doing this. I spent all this money. That's all the nonsense. Do you want it or not? Some people just like to think they want things, and other people do everything in their power to achieve them. But what I want to tell you is some people who do everything in their power to achieve them, they had to wake up first. They didn't just arrive one day since birth being willing to do everything. You know, some people are just born with more inherent hindrances than other people, more inherent impediments, things that are going to hold them back. That could be life, could be their upbringing, could be their parents, could be something that happened to them, some trauma, whatever it is. That's the thing. You never know anybody's story. You never really know it. Unless you get deep enough and you actually find out, you'll never know. So some people might have less of that than you, or they just got over it. So the other part of this that's so critical is actually work on yourself. So many people just work on the work. They just work on the project. They work on the thing they like, making the music, making the video, making the art project. They work on the just what in their mind they think they should be doing, but they're not working on themselves. They're not working to fix what's going on in their head that's stopping them from doing things. They're not willing to do the stuff that they haven't been doing, whatever that is. If that's open up to somebody and talk about what's in here, maybe that's what it is. If it's, stop doing the things that you know, if you close your eyes and said, man, if I just stopped doing all this stuff, I'd be so much more productive. Maybe it's all that. Whatever it is, you're not doing the things you know you should be doing. It's built into us. The things we know we should do and the things we shouldn't. It's not this big mystery. It's just a lot of people choose to keep doing the stuff that hasn't gotten them anywhere to date, might be holding them back, might really be preventing their growth, preventing them from working on themselves and actually healing themselves. They're preventing that because they don't go there. They don't dig deep enough. They don't make it happen. They don't get to the thing they need to fix. They just talk surface level. They just focus on the work at hand like a horse with blinders on. That can be helpful in some circumstances, but if you're not working on yourself, you will never, ever, ever make yourself somebody who can really get all they can out of what they were born with, what they were blessed with. We're all given a different set of skills. Every single one of us has something to bring to the table that's different than the next person. In order to get all of that out of you and be able to put it into motion and share it, you got to work on yourself. Everything you know you should be doing, do it. And don't look at it like cost too much. There's no price that you should think is too much for your mental health and your ability to turn this negativity, the depression, the nonsense that you have going on that's preventing you from doing everything, the trauma, there should be no price that's too much for you to get rid of that. And that includes time, because there's a cost associated with time. So some people look at it like, oh man, I don't have time to work out every day. I don't have time to change my, habits so I can eat right. I don't have the time to, do this, to do something every day that could benefit my future. Well, you don't have the time. It's the same thing as, saying you don't have the money, you don't have the time. You either got excuses or you turn the excuses into fixing yourself. And it doesn't have to cost a fortune. But it does have to cost something, and that something could be time, but it's worth it. If you don't start working on yourself and you don't start making your goal something you can control, you'll never get where you're trying to go. Trust me. And me, I'm not where I want to go yet. Somebody made a comment, they asked if I'm successful. Success is different for every person. You have to define success for you, and then you'll know whatever that is. Me personally, when I read that, that's the other thing too. I want you guys to realize this. Throughout your journey, people will talk to you either through comments or real life, on the phone, in person, your family. You should do this too. Always take every single thing that anybody says to you from the point of view of this is somebody who cares, and they're trying to get a real response out of me because they care. Whether they do or not is completely irrelevant. It's a decision you make to look at everything that's being fed to you in a positive light rather than a negative light. Because it doesn't matter if somebody's coming at you to hurt you or help you. If you read it in a way where it's positive, it won't matter what their intentions were. You may get something from it. You may actually be able to turn something that even maybe could have been negative into something that might help you. So when I read that, somebody said, are you successful? I thought, no. To me, what I determine as success, no, I'm not. Because I'm not totally there yet where I can take everything that's up here and everything that I'm capable of and be producing it on the level of a well-oiled machine. That's how I look at it. Like as if a human brain was a machine and was operating at peak efficiency, 100% efficiency. I'm not there. To me, that would be success. And I think with that success of that happening, that would make me feel substantially better. And I'm going for that. I'm going for that. I want to be a person that's happy, and I want to be someone operating at peak efficiency. That means anything I've been given, all the stuff that's been given to me as any ability that I might have, if I'm using it at my peak potential, that to me would be successful. I'm not there yet, but that doesn't mean I won't get there because I at least understand this stuff that I'm trying to share with you guys, which is the goal must be in the right place, or you'll never get there. You will always be way, way, way far away. Once you put the goal in the right place, you have a shot. All right? And that's why, I don't think of myself as above you guys. We are on the same level. It doesn't matter what you've achieved or not. I think we could all be operating at a little higher efficiency level, bottom line. So I really believe it's within all of us to get more out of ourselves. And that's what I'm trying to help you with. And selfishly, in trying to help you, I'm actually helping myself get there quicker also. Because there's no question about it, when I talk to you guys, it heals me. It heals me. I mean, I can't say it any clearer than that. It really, I get a little bit more whole by sharing pieces of me with you and everything I've learned. So I thank you guys for listening. I especially appreciate you watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hit the like button, subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. Set the goal right. You guys got this. Take it easy.